Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Smash JT. Now that all the major players have gone and had their conferences, the dust has settled, the games have been talked about, everything's been laid out on the table, we can take a step back and look at all these announcements and come to some sort of conclusion as to the 5 best moments from E3 2019. Like with all numbered lists, this is something that is truly up for debate, and these 5 are my 5. I'm sure yours will vary quite widely from mine, or at least the order of them. Coming in at number 5, gotta talk about Banjo Kazooie coming to Smash Bros. Ultimate as a playable character. Now, like I said in the announcement video of this, it's a big deal for Smash Brothers to be able to play as Banjo Kazooie. A lot of people wanted this, and finally Nintendo came through with something spectacular, completely surprising the vast majority of Smash Ultimate fanbase. But it's a lot deeper than that. It's not just Banjo Kazooie in Smash Ultimate, it's what this means behind the scenes with Nintendo and Microsoft's Rare, where Microsoft is allowing their IP that used to be with Nintendo, now coming back onto Nintendo's platform, what this means for the future and their partnership and games that could be coming to the Switch down the road. We already saw Cuphead show up, and I'm curious as to seeing what would be next and what they're working on behind the scenes. This is exciting stuff. Imagine if Halo finds its way onto the Switch. Imagine if Conker finds his way onto the Switch. There are a ton of different IPs from Microsoft. If they even got Game Pass working on the Switch down the road, tons of stuff that's very exciting, and honestly, this is just the tip of the iceberg. So yeah. Number 5, Banjo Kazooie and what it means for the relationship of Nintendo and Microsoft. Coming in at number 4 is Star Wars Jedi: The Fallen Order, coming from Respawn, parent company EA, which is typically concerning, but after the unveiling of this, it's a single player adventure, no multiplayer, and EA themselves on Twitter has promised no microtransactions, no loot boxes, and no, we won't be adding those in the future. So with that being said, assuming we trust EA on this one, which is questionable at best, but assuming they follow through on that, this looks to be an epic Star Wars adventure that every Star Wars fan has been looking forward to for a tremendously long time. It's been forever since I can remember a Star Wars game that was actually worth playing in the modern generation of consoles. Maybe Star Wars Battlefront 2, the original one, but again, it's been a while, and this one looks to be epic. I cannot wait to play this one. Based off of watching the gameplay that they showed at EA's press conference at E3 2019, man, they really knocked it out of the park with Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Coming in at number 3 is Keanu Reeves introducing Cyberpunk 2077, CD Projekt Red's next big game after The Witcher. They're working on this fantastic, futuristic, epic adventure, and they got Keanu freaking Reeves to come out on stage and talk about it. But not just that, he looks to be a main character in the game. So beyond just him playing a character role in the game, this means a lot for the video game industry at large. Having a mainstay in Hollywood, Keanu freaking Reeves, introducing Cyberpunk and being a part of that game, what it means for the future of the video game industry, and pushing it into the limelight even further with society and seeing these games being on the spotlight, it's a big deal. And not to mention, regardless of whether he was drunk or not, he did a fantastic job on stage getting everyone excited. It was one of the best moments from E3 2019.
The feeling of being there, of walking the streets of the future, is really going to be breathtaking. You're breathtaking. You're breathtaking. You're all breathtaking.
At At number 2, we got Final Fantasy VII's Remake, and I know a lot of people might think this would be the number 1 moment, but if you know my channel, you know where I'm going with number 1. As far as Final Fantasy VII's Remake at Square Enix's press conference E3 2019, what can you say about this that would even come close to encapsulating the feelings that this gave you while watching it? The unveiling of it, all the new scenes and the action, the combat being real time, saying that there's so much data involved in this game that it takes up 2 full Blu-ray discs? That just blew my mind. Never mind that you can buy a special edition with Cloud riding his motorcycle for $330. This thing is going to go down in history as one of those games that people will be talking about forever. Final Fantasy VII's Remake blew me away at the conference, and man, I cannot wait until March of 2020 to play that game. Before I get to number 1, I gotta talk about a couple honorable mentions that just missed the cut that I am also very excited about. First one being Watch Dogs Legion, and the reason why I say I'm very excited about this one and why it just missed the cut is I haven't played the original Watch Dogs or Watch Dogs 2, but after watching Ubisoft's press conference talking about this game and showing it off and how you can recruit people to your team and drive around like Grand Theft Auto and you have permadeath and all these things that look like it's a very unique experience that encapsulate a whole bunch of different terrific games that already exist, it's one that I'm excited about, on my radar when it finally releases in March of 2020. And holy crap, March of 2020 is going to be a very big month when it comes to heavy hitters, all releasing in like a 25-day span. And the other honorable mention that I just have to talk about is how Nintendo ended their press conference saying that Breath of the Wild 2 is now in development. There were rumors about it swirling, but this officially confirmed it. It was fantastic to see Link again in Breath of the Wild's environment, my favorite game on the Switch right now. I am extremely excited about this. The only reason it didn't make my top 5 is it's a long ways off and they didn't really show any gameplay from it. Although we can just assume it's probably going to be very similar to Breath of the Wild. Still very excited to see that one. Just missed the top 5. And the number 1 top moment from E3 2019, I'm going to be cheating a little bit here because it's kind of twofold. But the way they announced it, it was at the same time and it kind of goes together. So yes, my number 1 moment from E3 2019 is Square Enix announcing that Seiken Densetsu 3 is not only coming to the Nintendo Switch, but is being fully remastered, remade in 3D HD. Looks freaking incredible! A game that I've always wanted to play more of because it never came to the West officially. And then they said after that they were making that game that, oh by the way, the Secret of Mana trilogy is also coming to the West, so you can play the officially translated version of Seiken Densetsu 3 alongside Final Fantasy Adventure and Secret of Mana. This is crazy! For those of us who have been around playing these games for a long time, just the idea that it took over 20 years for these games to get localized, and not only is it getting localized, but they're remastering it on top of that. And if you go to the forums of the unofficial translators, they talk about how this thing was a bitch to translate because of how the internal editing worked with those old school Super Nintendo games, that it was not an easy process by any means. Not to mention that Square retranslated this thing officially in-house all by themselves and aren't making a big deal of that, which was a very big deal. So kudos to Square Enix taking my top 2 spots in this with Final Fantasy VII Remake and Seiken Densetsu 3 / Secret of Mana trilogy coming to the Nintendo Switch. This is something that I could not have ever imagined. E3 2019 was saved at the end because, woo, at the beginning of this, it was looking bleak. I'll be honest with you guys. After watching Bethesda and Ubisoft and heck, even Microsoft kinda was a letdown because it wasn't showing much gameplay footage for any of the games you were excited about in the first place. So yeah, E3 2019 was saved, and these moments will go down in history as some of the best ever from that conference. Anyways, that's where I'm going to leave this video, but you know what I'm going to say. I want to hear what your top 5 moments from E3 2019 are. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, you stay smashing.
My turn.